welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today is going to be our final episode of our Spooky Ooky month.
Spooky ooky. And it is a bummer we're not at Jess's house again for the fun Halloween decorations, but just like imagine that we're there.
Imagine.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Before we get too deep into anything, though, just a reminder, you can find us on all of our social medias. They are listed in the description below. We would very much appreciate a like and subscribe.
Yes. But you know what? It's okay that we're not at my house for this because we don't need spirits at my house.
No.
We learned our lesson.
Yes, we did. We recorded the Dolls episode and the Bell Witch and oh dear.
I think it was just those two, wasn't it?
No, because there was another one, wasn't there? I swear
nope,
we did
it was
three.
just those two. We did some Twilight or New Moon also at my house, but
wait, but I thought we had 5 spooky ookies. Isn't that the
we
last
have 5?
spooky ookie?
But we did the first one at your house, the Salem Witch Trials. We did here too.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, either way, the ones that we recorded at Jess's house, her house that's over 100 years old, and then we recorded it in the dark.
Mm-hmm. We have a really funny, hilarious outtake from the Haunted Dolls one, though. So if you want to check that out, it's at the tail end after the music because I didn't want to burst your all eardrums.
Yeah, I can't wait. Isn't that being published this week?
It's going to be published this week for us, yeah.
I am so excited to watch that because
it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
We damn near had heart attacks.
We knew my husband was coming home, but yet, scared the crap out of us.
When you're in a dark room
talking about creepy dolls
and ghosts, and then your ghost having messed with the lights in a previous episode, you're just on edge, okay? Yeah, Ted was part of the lighting crew.
He was part of the lighting crew. Yep. Well, welcome back for our grand finale of the Spooky Ooky month. As the veil between the living and the dead grows thinner with each passing night, we invite you to join us on one last chilling journey through the haunted world of Sleepy Hollow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tonight, we delve into the heart of the tale that has sent shivers down spines for centuries, the eerie legends of the Headless Horseman. In this episode, we'll trace the dark origins of this ghostly rider from his roots in ancient Europe folklore to the bloody battlefields of the American Revolution. We'll uncover how Washington Irving immortalized the headless Hassan soldier in the haunting tale and relive the spine-tingling story of the Ichabod Crane's fateful encounter with the spectral figure. But is the Headless Horseman merely a figure from old ghost stories, or is there something more sinister lurking in the fog-filled woods of Sleepy Hollow? Settle in, dim the lights, and prepare to be transported to a world where the dead still ride. This is an episode you won't want to face alone.
Good job, AI.
I know.
Okay. And there was no opulent or idyllis.
Stupid words.
Stupid son of a biscuit. What was the word?
We'll have to look after this one.
Leaving a distinctive mark. I remember the definition. We'll come back to it. For those who are not aware, go check out our Stanley Hotel episode. I don't know if any of those bloopers will make it to the end, but let's just say some really, really what words were thrown at us.
Yeah. Also, I haven't mentioned yet for this episode, but after I took all my notes, I had AI turn this into a spooky story, essentially, and it's been really fun so far. So
it is. We wanted to do something a little different for Spooky Ooky month because let's face it, we're a couple of white girls in our 20s on a true crime podcast. We're gonna like Halloween. It's come on,
absolutely.
we can't not. Okay.
No. All right, so the first up is the legend of the Headless Horseman, a tale of fear and folklore. The village of Sleepy Hollow lay nestled in the heart of the Hudson Valley, shrouded in an ancient mist that clung to the land like ghostly veil. Time seemed to move slower there, as though the town itself was under some timeless enchantment. The trees stood tall and twisted, their branches creaking in the night wind, and the shadows lengthened ominously as dusk fell. For generations, whispers of the terrifying apparition had haunted the townsfolk, a tale told in low, trembling voices by flickering candlelight, long after the sun had dipped below the horizon. It was said that once darkness descended, a figure would emerge from the forest, one whose presence sent shivers down the spines of all who dared to venture out into the night. This was the tale of the Headless Horseman. Long ago, so this is the mysterious rider of Sleepy Hollow. Long ago, during the American Revolution, a fearsome Hassan soldier fought for the British. I hope I'm saying that right, by the way.
I don't remember if it's Hassan or Hessen.
Hessen?
It might be
Hessin.
I think it's Hessen, and I think
Hessen?
it's actually German.
Interesting.
I believe,
Hessen.
if I recall correct, I do think it is Hessen, German. Let's find out. Hessen plumbing. No.
Not quite. I wasn't going for there.
Headlights. Nope. Horseman. Wow, Google, you're trying.
Hassan soldier?
Yes, the term Hessen refers to the German auxiliary troops hired by Great
Britain. I'm not the only one.
hired by Great Britain to fight in the American Revolution. Hessens were known for their extreme violence.
Ooh. Okay, so that
How to pronounce?
Hessen. Okay.
How to pronounce. I might be German, but it doesn't mean I can speak it.
Hessian.
Hessian.
We were both wrong.
We were.
Hessian.
Oh, I have to mute. I'm like, where am I getting feedback?
Hessian.
Okay, Hessian.
I will try my best to pronounce Hessian correctly.
We are learning so much today.
We are.
Hessian.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so this is the mysterious rider of Sleepy Hollow. Long ago, during the American Revolution, a fearsome Hessian soldier fought the British. He was a brute of a man, notorious for his ruthless tactics and unparalleled skills in battle. But during one fateful clash near Sleepy Hollow, his fate was sealed in a single instant of violence. A cannonball fired from enemies' sides and took his head clean off his shoulders. His body collapsed to the ground, his decapitated corpse lying lifeless in the dirt. But death did not grant him peace. According to the legend, his headless body was buried in an unmarked grave in the cemetery of the old Dutch church. Yet, even in death, the Hessian soldier could not rest. Every night, as the bell tolled midnight, he would rise from the earth, mounted upon a fearsome black steed. Cloaked in a billowing cape, his headless form would ride out into the night, searching, always searching for his missing head.
His obliterated head, if it got hit by a revolutionary cannonball,
it's gone.
he splat.
You're lucky you still have your body.
Right? When it said took his head clean off, I'm like, yeah, back then, I mean, shoot, any type of cannonball, but like...
Probably just obliterated the head, just poof.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brutal. Which, I mean, sounds like he was brutal, so...
Mm-hmm. The sound of his galloping horse echoed through the winding roads of Sleepy Hollow, striking terror into the hearts of any who heard it. It was said that the horseman would stop at nothing to reclaim what he had lost, and anyone unfortunate enough to cross his path would face a grim fate. The only sign of his passing was the sudden rush of cold wind, the clatter of hoofs, and of course the hollow whoosh of a pumpkin crashing to the ground.
I have only heard pumpkins that are like rotted from Halloween getting kicked off of the horses. So I'm like, it's not so much a whoosh as it is a splat.
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 It's got yeah.
It's going to be messy. Squirrels are going to get it. A lot of squirrels.
Squirrels.
SIMP squirrels in my pants.
No. No, that was awful.
It was Disney Channel.
So the next one is the haunting encounter of Ichabod Crane, which I feel like this one is a pretty well-known one.
It is. I mean, the first time I heard the story was the Disney Ichabod Crane little VHS,
Mm-hmm.
which is, of course, a scaled down version.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. But then I'm also thinking of the Sleepy Hollow movie with
Yes.
Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. Ritchie?
I don't know.
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
I like it actually. And it's got the a bit of the macabre feel to it, where it feels like it should be a Tim Burton, but I don't think it is a Tim Burton.
Interesting.
I think you might like it. Just kind of maybe a watch once and then you're good thing.
Yeah. It's on the list. There's a lot on the list, but it'll be on the list.
You were deprived. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So one autumn night, when the moon hung low and the air was thick with fog, a man named Ichabod Crane found himself on a lonely road that wound through the woods of Sleepy Hollow. Crane, the village schoolmaster, was an awkward, lanky man, a dreamer with a fondness for old ghost stories. He was returning home from a party at the Von Tassel estate, where he had danced and dined, hopeful of winning the heart of the beautiful Katrina Van Tassel. As Ichabod rode his horse through the forest, the night seemed to grow darker, the shadows closing in all around him. The branches above swayed ominously, their skeletal limbs reaching out as though they might snatch him from his saddle. His mind raced with thoughts of the ghostly tales he'd heard earlier, and despite his best efforts to keep calm, a sense of dread began to creep over him. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and then he heard it, the unmistakable sound of galloping hoofs. Ichabod's heart pounded in his chest as he turned to look behind him. At first, he saw nothing but the swirling mist. But then, emerging from the fog, came a rider, dark and menacing, towering on a powerful black horse. There was something wrong about the rider, something unnatural. As the figure drew closer, Ichabod's blood ran cold. Where the rider's head should have been, there was nothing but empty air. The Headless Horseman had found him. The rider urged his horse forward, galloping at a terrifying speed, his black cloak billowing like a shadow behind him. In his hand, he held a large object. Was it his own severed head? No, it was a pumpkin, gripped tightly as if ready to hurl at its prey. Ichabod whipped his horse into a desperate sprint, the two speeding through the forest into a frenzied race. The thunder of the horseman's hoofs grew louder, closer, until it felt as though the spectral figure was breathing down his neck. Ahead, Ichabod saw the old church bridge, the one place where, according to legend, the horseman could not cross. If he could just reach it, he might be saved. His heart hammered in his chest as he pushed his horse harder, feeling the horseman's icy presence closing in. But it was too late. Just as Ichabod reached the bridge, the horseman reared up, raising the pumpkin high above his head. With a swift, terrifying motion, he hurled it through the air. Ichabod had no time to react as the pumpkin flew toward him, struck him with a sickening thud. The next morning, when the villagers went out to search for Ichabod, they found his horse wandering near the bridge. Its saddle was empty. Ichabod was nowhere to be found. His hat lay abandoned in the dust, and beside it the shattered remains of a pumpkin. Someone said Ichabod had been spirited away by the Headless Horseman, never to be seen again. Others whispered that perhaps Brom Bones, Ichabod's rival for Katrina's hand, had something to do with the incident. Maybe it was he who had dressed as the horseman to frighten Ichabod off. But Brom only smiled when asked, never confirmed nor denied the story. Whatever the truth, Ichabod Crane was gone, and the legend of the Headless Horseman grew stronger with each retelling. Even now, on moonlit nights, travelers claim to hear the eerie sounds of hoofbeats echoing through Sleepy Hollow. And sometimes, if the mist is just right, they swear they see a dark figure of the Headless Horseman still searching for his lost head. So, now going into some origins of the legend. While Irving's story immortalized the Headless Horseman in American lore, his tale draws from much older European myths of the Headless Rider. In Irish folklore, there is the Dullahan, Dullahan, a sinister figure who rides a black horse carrying his own head under his arm. He is said to summon death wherever he stops, and his presence brings a chill to the air, much like the horsemen of Sleepy Hollow. In Germanic legend, the wild huntsman led a pack of ghostly riders through the skies, chasing souls and harbingers of doom.
Okay, sorry, that's really funny you mentioned that. Do you know the song Ghost Riders in the Sky? You
Maybe.
totally would if I played it for you. I'll play it for
Probably.
you later. But like it's Western, it's metal. And like I always wonder, I'm like, Ghost Riders in the Sky. That's so interesting. But now I'm like, if it's based on an older song, like there's a lot of Germanic population in the US. So I'm like, huh, interesting.
Gotta love how everything's just linked.
Everything, because I've had that question for so long, and it just played on my Spotify list not that long ago, and I had that thought of like, huh, interesting. But then I was followed up by "Bury Me with My Guns On," which is a great song. It's literally "Bury Me with My Guns On," so when I get to the other side, I can shoot the devil right between the eyes and show him what it feels like to die. I enjoy that song.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the band or anything. Western metal is apparently something I like. Doesn't feel like it should be a thing.
It's interesting, though. It's fun.
It's fun. It's upbeat. You're not falling asleep to that. At least you shouldn't be.
If you do, there's probably something else going on.
Drugs.
Moving on.
Moving on.
These eerie tales were passed down through generations, crossing the Atlantic with early settlers and taking root in the fertile soil of American superstition. But it was in the fog-drenched valleys of Sleepy Hollow that these ghost stories merged with the grim history of the American Revolution. The Headless Hessian, with his tragic end on the battlefield, became the spectral rider who now haunts the dark roads of Sleepy Hollow. The tale continues to send chills down the spine, a reminder that some spirits never rest, forever condemned to wander the earth in search of what was lost. And we're going to leave you with a warning to travelers.
Oh.
The legend of the Headless Horseman serves as a cautionary tale for those who dare to travel the roads of Sleepy Hollow after nightfall. Perhaps the story is nothing more than an old folk tale meant to scare children, or maybe, just maybe, the horseman is still out there, riding the dark, lonely paths in the dead of night, seeking his head and claiming the souls of those foolish enough to cross his path. So, should you find yourself in the shadowy woods of Sleepy Hollow on a cold autumn night, keep your eyes sharp, your wits about you, and pray that you don't hear the sound of distant hoofs. For once the Headless Horseman is on your trail, there's no escaping his relentless pursuit. And in the end, you may vanish just like Ichabod Crane.
I had to look up because I'm like, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure Sleepy Hollow is a real place. And it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's a very interesting, definitely old.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, they use a lot of pumpkins in their decorating.
They probably just kind of leaned into it, you know?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody knows about Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Like, that's a pretty quick one.
Yeah.
Oh. Parking in the villages of Tarrytown and Sleepy Hollow will be extremely limited on the night of Halloween parade due to road closures. Yeah, I'm sure you guys get busy.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Sleepy Hollow? I wonder if they do any, like, fun Halloween things. You know?
It looks like they do quite a bit. Oh,
Oh.
cool. We just 4 years ago is the bicentennial of the legend. So
Hmm.
March 20th, 1820 is when a little story titled The Legend of Sleepy Hollow was published. Huh. It has never been out of print since that day. Wow.
This is such a popular story. Everyone's heard of it. When was the first time you heard, or that you remember that you heard Sleepy Hollow?
I think it was the Disney Ichabod thing, but it wasn't the actual movie. Like, it was one of the pre-advertisements for movies. That's right, kids. I don't think we have any more kids on this channel,
No,
but back
and if we do, we shouldn't.
no. But back when they had the advertisements before the VHS that you could, fast forward through, and then you couldn't do that on DVDs afterwards. That sucked.
Mm.
But there was one in one of the Disney sing-alongs that had that.
Oh,
And I remember being interested in it because I liked Halloween as a kid. I have an
yeah.
October birthday, so I was like, oh, I'm supposed to like the creepy and the spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the creepy and the spooky.
Yeah.
But I don't want it here. I'll read about it.
No, which is why it was dumb of us to do it at my house.
That was probably one of the more masochistic things we've done in our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of the five, we probably did the two creepiest at my house.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But when was the first time you heard about Sleepy Hollow?
It was later. We talked about it in one of my middle school classes. Like, we read a poem about the Headless Horseman. And then one of my friends was in the Sleepy Hollow play that they did at a high school that wasn't my high school, but the one literally rivals. And so me and my mom went to go see her in that play. And so we watched that, and it was really cool. And so middle school to high school was when I first learned about it, which I feel is pretty old for Sleepy Hollow.
Well, I mean,
Maybe not.
it depends. It depends on the version of the story.
That's true.
The more in-depth version of it, I didn't get until I was older, and then watching the Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, or Ricky. I'm never sure how to say that. That's when I got more into it, and that's when I like read into it because I'm like, oh, I'm actually like interested in this, and that's how I found out about the Hessian and all the other fun stuff there. But yeah, no, that was much older. I honestly think it was probably in my like very early 20s.
That came out in 1999.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because it was definitely. I watched it, I think pre-COVID, like just before COVID started. The only reason I remember that is because that's when I was applying for jobs nonstop. And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
take a little
forget
break.
that.
No, that's a stressful time. That sucked.
It's great.
It's awful. Everything is awful.
Still in that.
Yeah. We're trying. But on that note, any other doors we should explore on Sleepy Hollow? What?
On Sleepy Hollow?
On Sleepy Hollow.
On Sleepy Hollow. I don't like Sleepy Hollow.
I don't know. It's kind of like our oozing conversation earlier. I think I can handle moist better than I can handle oozy and seeping.
Every time I think of Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman, I think of Harry Potter. Not really the movie, but the books, because they have the Headless Hunt, and they do all these like Sir Nicholas, the nearly headless Nick.
I was gonna say the only thing I'm remembering is nearly headless Nick.
He tries to keep applying to be part of the Headless Hunt, and they keep denying him because he's not fully headless because he can't participate in headless water polo and like all these like
Oh, nearly.
Poor Nick.
That's rough, buddy.
But yeah, so every time I think of that, I just think of Harry Potter because they didn't put any of that into the. I mean, They put nearly headless Nick, and I think like there's one point like someone comes in on a horse or something, but I don't think it's Headless
No,
Horseman.
they didn't really, to my memory. Granted, reading Harry Potter, even watching the movies, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember them having too much of your stereotypical ghost stories of any type.
No, not really.
No, they do a little bit. I feel like we get it in Prisoner of Azkaban
A little bit
with
but
the Dark Forest, but they really
yeah.
don't focus too much on that.
No.
Which, I mean, like, if I was in the wizarding world, I would be like, yo, I gotta find out all the things that are real and not real. And if they are real, how do I keep myself safe? Like, is it steaks? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it garlic? Like, what does a girl gotta do here?
Very true. Yeah, which we will do Harry Potter book reactions. Eventually.
We're getting there.
We got Twilight to finish, and then we got
Yeah, or New
our
Moon.
next we have the Twilight Saga to finish.
Twilight Saga to finish, which if you haven't checked out our Saturday episodes, you should check them out. Jess is they better do what? Oh dear. Jess has very kindly I don't know what just happened there. Jess has very kindly put together a YouTube playlist of our book reactions. And so by this point, we should be pretty much wrapping up with our New Moon. And to say we are not looking forward to when we do our reaction to the New Moon movie is a understatement. We will be drinking wine for that one.
Yep. So our last book reaction to New Moon will be this upcoming Saturday, and then the weekend or the Saturday after that will be our movie reaction.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that, or feel free to let us know what you would like to see upcoming for our Wednesdays.
Yes, we would love to have suggestions.
Yeah.
You can leave them in the comments. Otherwise, we do have an email address listed in the description. We welcome any questions, comments. I'd say concerns. I don't know. Are you concerned about us? I mean, I'm concerned about us, but not for podcast reasons.
Not for podcast reasons.
Yeah.
No. But we have some exciting stuff planned for after our October. But I will also have because this is the October 30th for you guys. So
yeah,
I have all of our Spooky Ooky month in a playlist of its own. So if you want to go and just listen to those, get in the mood for Halloween, go check out the playlist. That's on YouTube only, by the way.
YouTube only. By the way, you know the song Stupid Cupid Love Is Gonna Find You?
No.
Oh. Well, instead of Stupid Cupid, my brain is replacing it with, no, not Stupid Cupid. That's a different song. Super Trooper, Love Is Gonna Find You, the ABBA song.
Yeah.
My wires got crossed. I've replaced Super Trooper with Spooky Ooky. Today has just been a day of mental radio is having its own time. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah. Well, we haven't recorded in a while, so today's been a long day for us.
It's been a long day. It's involved Jared Leto. It's involved Anastasia. It's involved squirrels and new words. It's been a day.
It has been a day, but we are blabbing on, so we might
we'll call this good.
Yeah, nice, short, sweet episode for you guys. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Stay safe, have fun, stay warm, and we will see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Adios. God, it better not be a cold Halloween again.
Blizzard?
I hope not. I just want to give okay, this sounds weird. I want to give candy to kids. I love trick-or-treaters.
No one comes to my block, though. Like, I have so much candy, and I only ever get, like, 5 trick-or-treaters because everyone goes 5 blocks south.